Hello, Domain Dave, cheapwinefinder.com. I go through this every time. We do 3 wines a week. We do reviews of value-priced wines. Write them up on the cheapwinefinder.com website, and then we plug in the microphone, and well, here we are. I've got a $6.99 Trader Joe's wine. It's been around since 2014. It's the Moon X Black Pinot Noir 2023. If you're going, oh no, not another Pinot Noir review, well, this one's a little bit different. This was kind of a dupe of Meiomi Pinot Noir. That was a huge success. It's been a good 10 years now. Because this, the first time we did a review of the Moon X Black, it's 2014. Meiomi is probably out a little bit before that. And it was a revelation. It dropped a bomb in the wine world. It was a over-the-top, big, bold Pinot Noir, which didn't happen back then. Back then, Pinot Noir was subtle, genteel, ethereal, that type of thing. Actually, I do like that style. But just a large and in charge Pinot Noir. Now, I never particularly liked it as a Pinot Noir, but it made a tasty red wine. And actually, Joe Wagner of the famous Caymus Family was the one who came up with that wine, and he sold it for $3 billion. That's with a B. That's how popular that was. And there were other kind of dupes. This was a this is Moon X. It's out of Lodi, but it says California label, so I'm not quite sure where all the grapes were. And the funny thing about it, after 10 years, a typical California Pinot Noir nowadays with global warming and what have you is 14.5 on the alcohol. That's just regular ones. One's trying to be a regular Pinot Noir, a traditional Pinot Noir. They have this large amount of alcohol. Alcohol is sugar. Sugar is, when it gets ripe, it gets sugary. Just because it gets warm and you need a long growing season, so you got to wait a long time for it to ripen up. And when it does, it's 14.5. The Moon X is 13.5. It is, after 10 years, it went from being a mad dog wine to being quite modest. And it still doesn't do it for me as a Pinot Noir, but it is a tasty, crowd-pleasing red blend. It's got spices, it's got vanilla, plums, cherries, cranberries, it's got tart, it's got rounded fruit, it's got some dusty tannins, which are kind of nice. You don't always get that. It's got some flavor to it. I mean, it's not what I look for in a Pinot Noir. I keep on saying that because that's, it says Pinot Noir, but they're telling you it's a Moon X Black. Pinot Noir comes down the road. But after all this, after 10 years, I mean, the wine world's kind of changed. And this Moon X is kind of more traditional now than some of the newer ones. I'm going to take another sip. $6.99. It's a really nice red blend. I'm not sure what the grapes are. The original Meiomi had Pinot Noir and Petite Syrah and that type of stuff in it. They've also used to say Santa Barbara, Monterey, Sonoma on the label. Now it just says California, so they might have changed the sourcing. I mean, at some point, it doesnn't matter because that wine is a thing now. You don't have to be upset that it's a big and bold wine anymore. It is what it is. But this wine grows on me. Like I said, as a Pinot Noir, it's still kind of see-through, or a red blend, I should say. I'm getting some molasses on it. I mean, I'm getting exotic spices. So there you go. It's $6.99. It used to be a crazy Mad Dog wine. It's a dupe of a famous wine. And after 10 years, it stands on its own. So there you go. It's Domain Dave from cheapwinefinder.com. There's not a whole lot to say, except it's better than I remembered it to be. And it's a tasty red wine. It's with the summer and the cool weather coming up. If you don't want to spend $18 on a Meiomi Moon X Black, it might be a really good alternative. Make sure these, sometimes inexpensive wines, you have to make sure they open up. Even more so, or as same as expensive wines, because with an inexpensive wine, you kind of need it to be all it possibly can be. So there's no reason not to get that, because this wine, as I'm sipping on it, has gotten better and better. So that's it for me, Domain Dave, cheapwinefinder.com. Like us, we like your podcast push buttons, if you will, just like it. For some reason, that's a kind of a really weird way of, they don't have better ways of tracking things than that, but there you go. So adios, keep it cheap. I've got another real Pinot Noir, which probably has more alcohol in this one, coming up in a few days, and then we'll take it from there. So adios, keep it cheap, and I'll be talking to you. Bye-bye.